What up, PB Cashewville? It's your boy PB, and right next to me is your boy Cashew. And today we're gonna be talking about a ton of stuff. Just listen, just watch. It's gonna be good. This is a PB Cashew show, and hit it.
PB Cashewville, it's your boy Cashew, and right beside me is...
It's your boy PB.
And we have a lot of things we are going to talk about.
Oh, yes.
So, I don't know how long... I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one.
It's going to be an interesting one,
but
yes.
I got to brag a little bit.
Why are you bragging?
I actually went to a Knicks game on Monday.
I hate you.
And it was awesome.
Haters gonna hate.
It was awesome. And what was cool about it is, I said I was going to show this in the podcast. I got myself a authentic John Starks autograph.
John Starks autograph.
I wanted through a trivia question.
Trivia question. What was the question that you answered?
So the question was basically, what year was it John Stark became Sixth Man of the Year? When he got Sixth Man of the Year award?
I would say 1993.
Nope. It was a 1997 season.
Oh, 97.
But it was 1996 to 1997.
Gotcha.
And so I'm like, I got that. There was three trivia questions and 3 autographs. You could have got a Quentin Grimes one.
Oh.
You could have got a Mitchell Robinson one, or you could have got a John Starks one, and I got the John Starks one. And it's the most famous one too. And postering.
How do you quickly feel about Miles McBride being sent back to the G League? Do you think that's okay? Not so okay?
I'm okay with it as long he needs to develop.
Okay.
And that will help him develop, I think.
Okay. Sounds good. So today, PB Cashew Show.
We got a lot to talk about.
Sorry.
So before we start anything, let's talk about yesterday's win.
Yesterday, yeah. This is we were talking about the win of the game where against the Heat, and then Julius Randle hits a game-winning 3.
So awesome.
That was just
that was so
amazing.
Awesome.
So
honestly, amazing. You might disagree with me, but watching that game and seeing especially at the last quarter, the fourth quarter, all of them they really tried.
They did.
To keep the Heat in, and it was so aggravating. All these calls are just bro. But Jimmy Butler had more free throws than the Knicks.
No, but again, that may be true, but again, when you're only scoring 30 points in that half, I mean, granted, the Knicks, the Heat played well too. The Heat kind of
played well.
The Heat played well, but then the fact is, it's the same problem, I think. But again, it's not the ref's fault. It's still the same. I mean, glad that that we've still got a better gel in this team, and you've won it. And at this point, the Knicks have a pretty nice, good winning streak going on. But again, you can't just make 30 points in a second half and expect to win more games like that.
Well, think about it like this, though. And this is me being honest. It's hard to play defense on a team because the Knicks are a good defensive team. And it's hard to play defense when you keep getting calls on you. And it's also hard, and this is the mentality part, but it's also hard to score sometimes when you're not getting calls your way. And, that's the thing. It's you might not, people don't agree with this, but like I said, sometimes the refs knows how to change the momentum. That's what happened. I think with the Heat, as they realized that they were getting most of the calls, they're going their way, and that switched the momentum. That's why they became more aggressive. Because I'm gonna say this, Randall multiple times was driving to the basket, getting hacked like crazy by Bam and Jimmy Butler. They don't call anything for him. He only had 3 free throws, around 3 free throw shots. Same deal, Jalen Brunson. Same deal, RJ Barrett. These guys were getting hacked and whacked like crazy. And they were not getting no calls.
I'll just say this: we got the freaking win.
It was awesome.
That's all.
I was so happy about it.
If we get the win, and it stinks that the refs didn't go along way. But
the fourth quarter was the worst.
Here's and I've said this before: the refs are not shouldn't be a factor anymore because the refs are going to give you dookie calls anyway. Like either they're going to be dookie calls in our favor, dookie calls not in our favor. And so you know what? Just play like how the Knicks played.
Yeah, they were doing that.
Screw it. It's just say, hey, you know what?
But it's like I said, it was kind of annoying though. You got me. It was annoying where we'll make the shot and then out of nowhere, like for example, that Emile quickly last foul, when they challenged it, that didn't make no sense to me. Like the ref was like, there was no reason to overturn it because he reached in, and even though Bam was in front of him, and Bam actually didn't move his screen, so we don't have that didn't make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, again, you just
that was just like
you're gonna get crappy calls like that. But you said you wanted to talk more about the NBA. What like certain annoyances that you had in the NBA? Because there's a lot to discuss.
Man,
today.
How hypocritical is the NBA?
Explain how. What do you mean?
Okay, let's talk about this. John Morant, he has been acting crazy lately. Mm-hmm. He's been bad lately.
Off the court.
Like off the court. They're only suspending him for 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie Irving was supposedly doing things that he shouldn't be doing off the court, quote unquote video, and they suspended him for 5 games. He had to do a whole list of doing this. And guess what John Morant's trying to say now?
What?
That he's dealing with stuff with stress, and that's why he's acting like that. How? I don't understand it. He got accused for punching a 17-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
He got accused for threatening he was threatening a security guard at a place. He pointed out a gun. There was also rumors that when they faced Indiana Pacers, that him and some of his boys drove around the Pacers bus and threatened them, showed his gun. Mm-hmm. And then just recently today, he was at a club showing his gun, like he showed his gun. And the fact that
so disappointing.
Disappointing. The fact that they're not doing anything really about it is what's getting me aggravated. Because Kyrie does a video, they call him anti-Semitic, and look it, he got 5-day suspension, and he had to do a whole list.
We actually touched on this like last week, and it's true. It's not just the NBA, man. It's everybody. We can cite the Deshaun Watson thing.
Yeah, that one's crazy too.
There's so many hockey instances where a player just completely checked. Like for example, during the Ottawa game, this is monumental. Matthew has actually watched a hockey game.
Yeah,
he actually watched Patrick Kane's debut on Thursday. So that's the first hockey game that you've watched completely?
Well, I've seen a hockey game up close, but it was in the Danbury Ice Rink.
Yeah, I'm talking about watching.
That's the first time I watched it.
It's the first time you've ever watched a hockey game. So as a person who usually never watches hockey, now that you've watched hockey, what's your reactions to it?
It's pretty cool.
Were you able to pick up
I understood
the rules?
I just here's the one. Okay, before we talk about the Rangers real quick. We can talk about that actually. What didn't make no sense, and I understand that you're trying to get a goal, was having the empty goal. Mm-hmm. At the you had 3 minutes left, so you decide, let's do the power play. Let's take an empty goal, have 6 men or something, have everybody focus on trying to get a goal. Mm-hmm. When you only are down by 1 point, one goalie.
That's you do that at the end of the game.
Yeah, you do that. I understand you do that, but at the same time, I was thinking about it. Because of that, it made you. It's a less down.
The thing with it. Well, first off, I didn't agree with the fact that they did so early, and second of all, that was a really crappy way of trying to do a 6-on-5. Trying to get that advantage. So that's it. But usually when you're only down by 1, you don't have that much left, you pull the goalie to see if you can try to get the advantage. And Rangers have been able to pull it off.
Me personally, I wouldn't have done it though. I just think it's too of a risk, and you've seen it.
The thing is, it's something that you've trained for, and if you really. And Rangers have scored doing that before. Hockey teams have scored against the Rangers in terms of that before. So in doing that, it's part of hockey. And if you watch more hockey later on, you'll kind of understand it. But Doesn't mean to go off of our particular track, just trying to steer it back here, but there's so many times where, like, during that game, there was one player who, like,
I
on the
know what you're talking
Senators,
about. Yeah,
like, completely
hit him in the
injures Mott
head.
and hits him in the head,
Yeah,
and he's not getting suspended at all. And so
he just got
it's
thrown out. He got ejected
this
basically.
the thing about it's just so crazy that in just sports, it's like you don't have standards to be able to just say, you know what. Is this a call? Is this a bad call? Should we suspend this person for this thing? The fact that you're waving a gun around with John Moran, dude, it's like you've gotta that's gotta be something. The whole Deshaun Watson thing is another thing,
Well, here's
and
another thing
it's
too. A former, I don't know who it was. It's a former NFL player.
mm,
He assaulted his ex girlfriend in front of his kids, and he only got 6 months thrown in jail.
yeah, it's our just sometimes the justice system's it's joking. It's not just the things that we're doing to each other. And this we're gonna blossom into like the bigger issues because this is springboarding it. Because I've been watching a lot of crazy things on the news today, and the whole that the case with that lawyer who shot his wife and his kid
Yeah,
because they found out that he was like going into drugs, but apparently he's also embezzling everybody. That was one crazy story. This crazy story where in Florida, okay, and I don't know, maybe we can show the video, and if we do, we'll show it late. But actually, probably not because it's really violent. I mean, we don't want to show that. But there was this story of this a guy, the 17-year-old who's had multiple juvenile delinquencies, right, in a high school in Florida. And do you remember, like back in the day? Well, probably with you, like it was you're talking on your phone in class, or you're texting on your phone in class. And if you're
yeah.
texting on your phone in class, what's the teacher gonna do?
Obviously, they get mad at you and tell you to put your phone away.
And if you keep it up, they're gonna
They're gonna send you to the prison or
or
something.
they're gonna take away your
Take
phone,
away your
right?
phone.
So this dude has a Switch.
Hey,
Yeah, bro, his freaking switch to class, right? He brought his switch to class, and then he's playing the switch in class. Teacher's aide takes it away from him. Guess what happens?
yeah,
Guy clotheslines this lady, and then starts punching her, and then had the security, and also thankfully there was a Marine that was passing by. And then had they like not pulled this kid off, he would have probably killed this lady over a freaking switch. This is the world we're living in, everybody. This is now going beyond sports. This is like how society is right now,
yeah.
and
But
it's scary.
I'm gonna say this, and this is where I feel like we were talking about like accountability and stuff. Like how
Yeah,
these, you were talking about how Curry did that. When I'm talking about John Morant did is worse. And
it's
here's what's
much
crazy.
worse,
What
right?
crazy is this is what the NBA has to understand. And some of these players, these kids idolize
Kids,
them,
yeah.
role models.
But again, it goes back, and then I know that probably I don't know how serious Charles Barkley was when he did it. They'll say that I am not a role model, whether you like it or not. You are one. You'll either be a example of what to do or example of what not to do. And so, if you got some little kids or like teenagers listening to that watch this podcast, at least we hope so. But or adults, you have kids and such, you got to teach your kids just to make sure, hey, you know what? That's not how to do something. That's not like and again, I think because of that, that's what'll drive people away from the NBA. But sadly, people will still go.
But what's crazy about it is like the media's not really blowing up the whole John Moran
No, it's
situation.
not.
But when it came to Kyrie Irving, that thing was blown out of proportion, out of
Yeah.
everywhere. Every time Kyrie this, Kyrie that, Kyrie that. John Morant, they're trying to throw it under the rug. But I mean, people, he apologized. He did apologize. And he said that he's stressing and he's having health issues. I don't know if that's true. I kind of don't believe it.
Okay. So you're having some serious issues.
Yeah.
You're having some serious issues, and that's what's gonna justify waving a gun around, punching an 18-year-old,
Or 17-year-old.
17-year-old.
Even if these accusations are, he also threatened
How
a
old
security
is
guard.
How old is John Morant?
John Moran let me go look. I think he has to be like 22, 23 maybe?
23. 23. Okay. So that's just like you
23. He's
Yeah, that's
23.
like you punching one of our teenagers just because. And then you said, you know what? Oh, I'm justifying it because I'm dealing with stuff. That's
Yeah,
not how you deal with stuff.
it was like
I'm
he was
sorry.
playing a pickup game, and they said that it was like a pickup game. This I think this was like a year ago or something. Like it was a pickup game, and the kid like threw the ball at him or something. He got mad and he punched him.
Again, so it's again it's people just losing control. But Matt, that's nothing new. That's nothing new. It's just that because in this day and age now, right? In this day and age now, everything is exposed. Everything is exposed. And you know what? Probably back in the day, people were probably doing a lot crazier things. Oh my goodness, Lawrence Taylor was drunk, high, and everything. This is back way even before you were born. But not everybody reported it because the thing is, sometimes it's like people didn't care. So this is nothing new. This is nothing new. The hypocrisy or the fact that the people get a pass for the stuff that they do, it's kind of it's ridiculous.
And what makes it worse is like it's not only him though. I feel like most of the players in the Grizzlies, they just for some reason that I like the
I
Grizzlies
love
is a good team.
They're a good team,
I
but
don't know what's
goodness,
going on. Like
that's
they really try to act thuggish, and I'm just like, dude, stop. Like if you go to a real hood, that's the thing. You gotta. That's what the thing with John. Though. They gotta be careful because if they actually go to a real hood where there's people that don't play around,
yeah.
like they look hood people, gangsters. You know,
No,
gangs. They look at that stuff.
if they know that you got that money, yeah,
They look
yeah,
at that stuff
yeah.
and they will pop you. I'm sorry to say, they will get you. You know, and you might say, "Oh, that's crazy for me to say that,"
No,
but
but
it's
that's
true.
true. That's a true. That's
We see that. It's not only we see that with rappers. You know, recently, PNB Rock, he got shot because he was out with his girl, and he's been saying, "Oh yeah," multiple times he died. Multiple times he kept telling people, "Hey," he told his girl, "Hey, you gotta be careful because these people keep saying they're gonna steal from us." And she finally posted and put on her location, and they shot him.
see, this is the world we live in, and this goes beyond sports
Yeah,
because again, the fact that we are in this society now, it loves more itself. It's a society that more idolizes the self rather than, I'm not one of those people that says like, oh, let's all be lovey-dovey and like kumbaya. There's gonna be differences. There's moments where we will have disagreements, but I'm gonna be civil about it. I'm not gonna be like, yo, Matthew, like totally like just said something off key. I'm gonna pop Matthew. I'm not gonna do that. That's just so stupid. But that's the mentality that people would do. For example, with that guy in Florida, right? The guy in Florida said he did not want to go to jail, right? He didn't want to go to jail. Starts cursing to like the local police. But then you know what he says? When he gets out, he's gonna kill that lady that took his switch.
that's crazy.
What is that?
Yeah, and it's not. And
It's just there's just too much going on right now,
yeah,
and plus like the consequences of people's decisions. Like another thing that happened in the news that I've heard of is Tom Sizemore died. Now, I don't know. Do you know who?
I think I heard of him before.
Tom Sizemore. We watched. I've educated Matthew, and he finally watched Saving Private Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Last summer, he was the sergeant at the end.
Oh,
Okay, he's
yeah,
a sergeant and he's excellent, excellent actor. But he's does so much cocaine. He did so much cocaine, and he drank so much. He had so many instances of abuse with his girlfriends and his wives, and yeah, some people say he was a really nice guy, but goodness, he had just a reputation of just being, and that's the kind of well, this and plus this has been going on forever, but now it's just so much more blatant nowadays in terms of just the lawlessness that we're doing,
Yeah,
and it doesn't make sense, but it does go back, and we'll be definitely honest with it. It's just the fact that nobody has a spiritual center anymore. Okay, we were talking about like because in preparation for this show, we were thinking about like mental health. Matt said that, people don't care about mental health as much. And I don't think that that's necessarily true, because most jobs will provide, like, hey, you know what, you need a mental health day, we get the mental health day. And then they have like newsletters and such. But there's the thing. A lot of times with these things, they don't talk about faith. They don't talk about faith as one of the major things to get you through these things. It's always something man-made. It's always something like, oh, it's like you got to go do these personal reflections. Personal reflections on what? What Zen things? It's all focused on the self. And yeah, that might be good and might help you for a little bit, but it's not gonna last. It's not gonna last long because it's man-made.
Yeah.
It's man-made. Now people say, oh, well, you know what? The religion's man-made too. Oh, and this and that. But when we focused on the Bible as being the center of our things, well, it was a core part in your schools. It's a core part in people's lives. It's what was used to teach people English back in the day. And if you were in Germany, that was what was used to teach German back in the day. But that's not the same case anymore. We've pissed on the importance of the Bible. Yeah. We pissed on the importance of spiritual things, and it's like you got to be like almost it's assumed, yeah, but nobody's practicing it. And frankly, sometimes we as Christians are like the same way. How many times do we see? And man, I'm going to turn this over to you because this is something I'm sure you've seen also. How many times have you seen Christians just bickering at each other? Oh my goodness, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, it is. And going back to the mental health thing,
mm-hmm.
I guess you and I kind of have a difference. I guess it's kind of okay. When I was talking about mental health issues,
mm-hmm.
I was talking more about the male athlete.
Yeah.
Than the female athlete. And it's not being sexist or anything or nostalgic. But what I'm saying is like, what I was going to tell you is like, if we're talking about mental health, it's like, don't you feel like more people care about the women's mental health than the men's mental health?
Ooh. Wow.
And I'm not being sexist.
Well, people are going to perceive us. People are going to perceive that we are with our answer.
But here's I'm going to try and make it so it won't seem like I'm sexist, okay? But here's the thing. I was talking to someone about this. Hollywood likes to portray men,
mm-hmm.
right, as cheaters,
mm-hmm.
as abusers,
mm-hmm.
alcoholics,
mm-hmm.
and that's how they portray all men, right? Mostly all men. All men are not like that. But also, Hollywood portrays men as more of the tough guy. They don't really show their emotions.
No. I wouldn't necessarily say that because there's a lot of movies where like the person's going to show their emotion.
But it takes time for them to show their emotion.
No. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There's a lot like Saving Private Ryan. There's this one part where like Tom Hanks breaks down because of the decisions he has to make. I don't think that nowadays having emotions is, even as a man, because back in the day, if you had like problems like that, it's simplified. It's like, yo, stop being a fill in the blank.
Exactly.
And then just man up and just deal with it. And you know what? Sometimes that's how you have to handle certain things. But sometimes you do need to kind of take a step back. Hey, look, let's reevaluate things for a bit. And I think nowadays there's more of that. But I think also there's a little too much of that.
I don't know. I just feel like when it comes to like, because okay, let's talk about Ben Simmons for example. You might not know. When Ben Simmons said he was going through mental issues,
mm-hmm.
they kind of were making fun of him a little bit about it.
Okay.
Like I'm talking about the TNT crew, They kind of did.
Yeah, shame on them.
They really kind of did make fun of it a little bit.
Shame on them. But that's
think about like this too. DeMar DeRozan, he didn't really talk about his mental health issue until he realized, hey, maybe I can help someone else. Yeah. Because he kept it under the rug for himself.
Yeah, because a lot of times we like to internalize a lot, and that also can be very that also can be very
no, it's true.
dangerous.
But I also feel like I really believe that. I feel like it's just harder for a man to sometimes express himself, like how they.
No,
Because think about it like this. Let me say this. Think about it like this. Like I just recently said, we might be. If someone sees us, they might say, "Oh, you're being sexist right now."
mm-hmm.
Just because I'm saying this doesn't mean I'm sexist.
No, it's a reality.
It's a reality.
Yeah, it's a reality because
But that's the problem.
how men the but then again, we're redefining everything. I'm going here. we're redefining it. We've redefined marriage. We redefined genders. We've redefined everything.
But we can't say like I always say. It's like it's harder for us to talk about this stuff because that's how we'll be portrayed bad. It will be called like sexist. We'll be called all these stuff.
Wait, why will we be portrayed sexist if we're? Are you talking? We're talking about
just in general.
Are you talking about like emotions?
Like just in general, like
also
like for example, TikTokers. Like I see TikTokers podcasts. You have to be careful what you say, right?
We always
and
have
most
to be.
and most men have to be careful what they say. But when it came to, I'm not trying to be funny, but most of the time women can say what they want, and they don't get really no consequences for it, and a lot of people support them. But like I said, if it comes to men, sometimes they don't support him. Like for example, I'll give you a good one, Andrew Tate. I don't agree with everything he says, but a lot of people are calling him sexist and they cancel him. You know what I'm trying to say now? So like that's what I'm trying to say. It's like it's harder for us to like express, even in sports. Sometimes it's hard for us to express our feelings than it is with girl athletes and male athletes. Because if a male athlete says, "Oh yeah, I'm dealing with mental health,"
you're a pansy.
Exactly.
Man up.
And then a female athlete, she says, "I'm dealing with mental health."
Okay. Let's get on Oprah. Let's get a book deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's harder for males.
So you're saying that? Well, I can answer this from many perspectives. First off, yeah, I guess as a male, you have to figure it out. You do. That's one of the ways that you just kind of have to do it. But again, I know not everybody's built that way. Is it unfair that we're not getting the same kind of like but in a sense, we as men have to be able to cope with that. That's to man up is one of our things that we need to do. But here's the other thing. When you try to become masculine, you're ripped for that also.
Yeah, that's
it's
what
like
I'm
it's a lose-lose situation. Like when you try to become masculine, like manly.
Oh, you can't be too masculine.
Yeah, it's toxic. Toxic masculinity.
And like I said, I don't care what people says, but feminism is getting to a point where it's just like I said, we can't speak out on it. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong. I honestly believe.
Yeah, I
honestly believe some women should have equal rights for things.
No,
I believe that
you should have. It's always. Here's the thing. It's like we always want to like push to promote this and that and this and that, but I think it always has to boil down to the person.
Yeah.
You look at a person. I mean, there's so many people that I deal with on a daily basis that don't have the same race as me, gender as me, faith as me, but you try to look at them as a person. I don't think, but nowadays you can't even. It doesn't seem like you can actually even do that. It seems like if you're not conforming to what society says you should be, you're ostracized. And that's not right.
Yeah.
That's not right. The fact that we should be able to kind of express ourselves. But then here we go. But here it is again. So it's like, so that means that you're promoting Satanism. I'm not promoting Satanism.
No one is.
No one is. It's like, because there are certain things there that are promoting something that's definitely not. It's like, then you should promote like the Ku Klux Klan. I'm not saying that.
Here's what I'll say.
It's people just need to have their sense of morality back again. Because that's the thing. Nobody has like a moral compass anymore. It's a freaking YOLO situation. Just live your life the way you want it. No matter, and you don't have to have filters. You don't have to do squat. Just live your life. That's whatever.
And then I think also, and this is what I think, it's like we don't have our own beliefs. We have to believe as someone else's belief.
You have, yeah.
Like, think about it. The media is the ones that always, let's be honest. Now let's talk about it as a man's perspective, okay? Media likes to attack the men a lot. And that's how they are. They like to attack us a lot. Like I said, what we just mentioned, we probably will be, let's be honest, there will be someone who said, oh yeah, they are sexist, they are feminists. In reality, we're not. But that's what the media likes to do, is they'll hear something, twist it up, make it seem that person is bad, but in reality it's not. And then we believe that stuff.
Yeah.
We don't look into it. We don't know that person. And we're like, oh yeah, they really like that.
Mm-hmm.
But once, if you look at it, like, that's what I like to do, is like, if I see that, I had to look at that person. I had to see what they actually do, what some of their videos, and then I can have my own perspective. Oh yeah, maybe he is like that.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like, you see one clip, you're like, oh, they're really bad.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that particular thought, we just go back to the Allen Iverson incident. For years, with that practice, I was like, you're a bad teammate. And you're a terrible, terrible person. You like, George Karl should just cut you.
Yep.
Like, you should just not, because you're just doing that. But then again, he explains later what it's about.
Yeah.
And then the media conveniently cuts it.
They just pick what they want.
Yeah, and again, so that's why you have to be careful about what, and not only believe what you watch, but believe what you see. Believe what you, like, everybody has an agenda. Everybody has an agenda.
Yep.
And you have to be subjective. You have to kind of look at it, unless it's absolutely blatant. If John Morant went to go and, God forbid he does this, went and like shot another person, and then everyone was like, oh, let's just sweep him on the rug and suspend him for 5 games, then that just proves our point that, society's really down the crapper.
They did that with Karl Malone.
Karl
they did that with him. They threw it on the rug.
I
didn't know about that.
That's the other side of it.
I didn't know about that until the All-Star game.
Yeah, bro. That's the other side of it. The fact that, for forever, this person is like portrayed. It's like, I used to think that, man, Karl Malone, man,
and then you search
he's
it, bro.
He's quiet. He's somebody that just works really hard. He's a Methodist. He's a man of God. Awesome. Then all of this stuff comes out, and it's just crazy, man. It's one of those kill your testimony kind of things,
Now let's talk about something else.
Oof, man. Oof.
I'm heated. Okay, let's talk about racism.
Well, racism. Okay. What do you want to talk about racism?
So here's the thing. Kendrick Perkins, he's been giving the Knicks love, right?
I love Kendrick Perkins. But
he was in First Take recently, and he was talking about Jokic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to play it, but I don't want to get in trouble. We can't do that type of stuff. It'll be copyright. But he was talking about Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
And he was basically, he didn't say the word racism, but you can tell he's putting the race card in it. So he was basically saying this. He goes, why is Jokic, who's a European player, right? He didn't say, I'll tell you, European player, and he's averaging, he might get a third MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned a guy like Joel, like he's mentioned like Joel and other guys. And then, like, Stephen A. Smith is like, so you're basically saying, like, a black American player versus a white European player, basically.
Oh, gosh.
So, like, he was talking about how, Kendrick Perkins was basically bringing up race, Russell Westbrook did this multiple times. Why is Jokic getting a lot of credit for this? Blah, blah, blah. And the way I see this is I don't understand why we have to bring race into it. And I was telling...
Yeah, because, can I mention something? When was the last time we had a white MVP?
But yeah, here's what I would say.
When? It's just Jokic, right?
Steve Nash,
Larry Bird, who are majority of our MVPs.
But I don't want to bring the race into it is that either. But here's my thing.
So is then like saying, oh, why is a white person being like considered the MVP? Isn't that racist too?
But here's another thing though. Draymond Green mentioned in his podcast with Gilbert Arenas, he was talking about how he feels
Gilbert
like
Arenas. I like Gilbert
he said they both agree. They think that American players have more pressure than European players. And I was like, I did not like that fact either. Because, and here's why: it's because, and this is what I told Zach. American players, they're not loyal to their team.
No,
they go back and forth for where they go. The only one I could say that's very loyal are Dame Lillard and Stephen Curry. And those are the only two. American players bounce back and forth into different teams. Yeah, European players are faithful to their team. They're loyal to their team. Jokic is still in the Nuggets. Giannis, yes, because he's a European player. Giannis is still with the Bucks where he could have left, and he got them a chip. Mm-hmm. Luka is still with the Mavs, even though they're not doing too good. Mm-hmm. I hate the fact that we're bringing race into all this. Look, you want to know why Jokic is probably going to win MVP or he's in the MVP conversation? Because he did this. This is his third time doing this, averaging a triple-double in not only points per game, assists per game, and rebound per game. This is his third time doing it. Mm-hmm. And he's the number 1 seed. And last year he won it was because he made his team without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. That's why he won it. Because even though they were the 6th seed, he carried that team to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's ability. You have to take a look at ability. Why you got to throw race into it? Okay, if what's it called? If Joel Embiid was having that same kind of season, or if Joel Embiid has that same level of it, would we wouldn't question it?
No, they always we
wouldn't say anything about it. But Matt, this is nothing new either.
That's what they want. They want Joel Embiid. They've been talking about Joel Embiid winning.
This is nothing new either, because back in the 80s, Isaiah Thomas got into the same kind of problem. Larry Bird was amazing, but then Isaiah Thomas said, if he were a black player, he'd just be a regular guy.
No, it's not true.
But that's the thing. When we take a look at Isaiah, why do you have to say something like that? The dude can ball.
Yeah,
the dude can ball.
Can I say something too? You know who else came after him? Michael Jordan, and he was literally one of the greatest. He's probably the greatest player in the world that played basketball.
Right.
You also got Bill Russell. People were even though there was a lot of racism, a lot of people was fascinated by him. Same thing with Will Chamberlain. Yeah, there was racism, but a lot of people were fascinated by him. As much as people want to admit, people that were racist was probably be honest. They probably told their kids, even though they didn't like it, yeah, he's phenomenal. He was amazing. Look, racism is everywhere. I get that.
Oh yeah,
but don't bring the race card into the MVP race, because at the end of the day, Jokic is in it, Giannis is in there, Jason Tatum. Like, if you look at it, Jason Tatum's in there, Joel Embiid's in there, Kevin Durant's in there, Julius Randle. Like, these are all the guys that are in there.
Yeah, so that's... I don't know why race had to be a factor then. It makes no sense. It makes no sense in terms of... Well, it's a... Why'd you go there, dude?
Yeah.
It's a why'd you go there, dude?
And then he brought
you know what it is? To take something from Michael, it's a come on, man!
Yeah,
it's a come on, man!
Like, he brought Russell Westbrook to it. Like, okay, yeah, Russell Westbrook did that, but it didn't affect his team, right?
Yeah.
This is what the thing you don't have to understand is. This is actually affecting Jokic's team.
Yeah,
he's making his teammates a lot better.
Exactly. I think the MVP also...
It's most valuable player.
It's most valuable player, not person who has a triple-double at the end of the year.
Take Jokic out of the Nuggets, they're not going to be that good.
Yes. But if you take Jokic and you put him to some crappy team like Houston and he does the exact same thing...
He's going to make his teammates look better.
Makes his teammates look better. Why is that not an MVP? Why is that? It used to be the total package. It's somebody who is leading the league in all of these things, which he is, and he's changing your team. Doesn't matter if he's black or white or Asian,
Hispanic.
If
If Jeremy Lin was still in the league,
If Jeremy Lin was in the league and he was transforming the team that he is on, would you be like, oh, Jeremy Lin only getting like the attention because he's Asian? Come on, come on, man. That's just dumb. That's just dumb.
and I think, and one thing that gets me so aggravated is just
Look
like,
at the person, as a player.
Yeah.
Can the person ball?
and what's so sad is like Jokic is like quiet about it. He's not gonna defend himself. He's like just saying he's hearing the media. He's just like, oh, because I get a triple double. Like that's literally what he's just doing. And
Just because you get a triple double doesn't mean you should get.
it's sad.
Yeah.
It's just
how many
it's just
titles
sad.
have you? How has the team improved by your particular contribution?
Yeah, he's been like I said. Without take him out the Nuggets, they won't. They probably will be a good team, but they won't be like how they are right now.
Like with me, I'm always a pro Michael Jordan as greatest player for all time. But you know what? That's one of the things that makes LeBron great.
Yeah,
LeBron goes to a team and makes the whole team better.
and then
That's what makes LeBron good.
and to rebuttal what Draymond Green said, where European players don't get that much pressure, Dirk Nowitzki was getting a lot of pressure because he couldn't win a chip, and he finally got a chip. Giannis Antetokounmpo is another player who's European, and he got a lot of flack, and he finally won a ring.
But here's the other thing too. No, there's a lot more pressure being a European player. You know why? Because European players don't have the same facilities. Some of them don't have opportunities to go and play for Duke. Some of them don't have the opportunities to have basketball camps when they're like little. Some of them just have to learn how to play the game on the street. Have you seen the movie Hustle?
You know,
With
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 was it Adam
with Adam Sandler?
Oh yeah, that movie was really good.
That's
Bo Cruz.
Bo Cruz.
Nah, but like it's. I'm being honest when I say like it makes no sense why you gotta bring race into it. Why you gotta say, oh, well, a European player? Look it up. Most European players, like I said, Giannis got a lot of flack for not winning the championship. You know, Dirk Nowitzki got a lot of slack, and you could keep going even back to like in the '80s and '90s. You know, Steve Nash got a lot of flack for winning that MVP when a lot of people thought Kobe should have won it. I know he's Canadian, but I'm just saying, like, you know, and then look. Maya Ginobili, Tony Parker, those guys are also up there in your
they're international
players. So I don't want to hear this. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear all this like bull crud with like, oh yeah, you know, if it's an international player, European player, they're gonna get a lot. They don't have pressure. They have so much pressure, and you know what? It's more harder to make it in the NBA as a European player than it is as an American player. Let's be real. Right. Because a lot of American players know who you are. No one really know who Luka Doncic was.
Nobody knew who Giannis was.
No one knew who Giannis was. And now look at these guys. They had to make their name by showing how good they are. Yeah. No one knew who Jokic really was. And now look at him. So you're talking about
a star from Serbia? Like what?
A lot of people knew who Kevin Durant was. A lot of people knew
who Russell Westbrook is.
Not everybody knew Stephen Curry. Even though they say he wasn't going to be that great, they knew who he was.
Right.
So I don't want to hear all this like, oh yeah, they have it tough. Like, European players have it more tough. You want to be honest?
Yeah, the opportunities are there.
Like
you're not going to get noticed. Like you're all the way. Like you need to have just like what was seen in. Also, the other good one was the.
You saw Rise?
Yes, that's the thank you. Rise
with Giannis. That was
nobody knew who Giannis was. He was playing for Atletico, some Greek club. Nobody, and now look.
And now you know what's crazy? He was picked the 16th pick, I think, right, or 15th in the draft, and everybody thought he was gonna be a bust.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't want to hear this whole like international players don't have. No one did not know who Dirk Nowitzki was until he got into the NBA. Let's be real here. And then he became iconic.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear this whole like, oh, no one knows who this European players or international players. You know, they don't. No one knew who Joel Embiid was.
Yeah.
Honestly, no one did. And he's an international player. So I don't want to hear it, man. I don't know.
We're even forgetting like what's his name?
Gobert, Rudy.
Oh no, one of the best international players ever. Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, it's true.
Hakeem Olajuwon was recruited to play soccer. He's originally a soccer player. You know that? But then Phi Slamma Jamma. Yes, ESPN. We're telling everybody about all of these really good 30 for 30 shows. But you know what, Matt? I just miss the days when it's just about ball.
Yeah, it's
You
just like
know,
nothing's about Baltimore.
I know it's got to be about something else.
And it's
It
crazy because the NBA wants to know why they're losing ratings. That's why.
yeah.
It's because it's not about basketball. Sometimes it's and look, I'm
It
not saying there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong talking about
social issues
social
and
because
yeah,
Bill Russell, Woods, they all did
they
that.
said use this as a
They use it as a
platform for
for
change.
for change,
Right.
and that's I love that.
I love that.
I'm nothing against that.
Nothing against that.
But here's my issue: is when you try to bring the race car into every little thing and
Yes.
say that you guys don't got no privileges, when in reality it's like you kind of do have
Kind
you
of
have the
do.
privilege because like sometimes there's players in the basketball right now who are second generation basketball players,
Hmm.
third generation basketball players.
They got the opportunities. Yeah, I
You
think
know,
because again,
Sabonis is another guy I forgot to mention. Sabonis, he's another international player
Arvidas, yeah,
who no one knew about, and now they do.
Vladi Divac, another great Lithuania or Serbia, I forget, but yeah, it's a global game, and that's awesome. And Adam Silver is great in promoting that, and so was David Stern was great in promoting the global game. I'd love to see more like more players from Australia. There's a lot of players. That's the other end.
Patty Mills.
Patty Mills playing Australians.
Ben Simmons is an
Uh,
Australian, even though he doesn't really play that
Luke
much.
Longley was a great Australian player.
Who was born in Australia, but they I think they moved when they were still like a baby.
Mm.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie
They don't
Irving was Australian.
they don't consider him Australian. It's so funny, bro.
Yeah, Kobe. Kobe was. I think has Italian citizenship, and he can actually speak fluent Italian. It's awesome, and that's the global game. I love the fact. Like, here's the thing: growing up, and going back to just how what basketball just being basketball. That's what I loved about it in the Philippines. It's like, you could be a kid in the Philippines and love this sport. You could be some guy in Nigeria, and you didn't love this sport because you have role models coming from these countries. You should promote that. Like if how war torn Serbia has been. Do you know how many conflicts have been in that area, and you're gonna feel bad that now those Serbian kids have a hero to look up to, and you're gonna put the race card in that?
Yeah, it's sad.
That's sad.
I just don't think.
And I love Kendrick Perkins. I love Kendrick Perkins as a player, but come on, man.
I just don't think there's no reason to compare because if you're gonna be honest with yourself, I'm gonna say this: European players have it rough.
Yeah, they do.
Europe, you think America's tough. Europe is way tough. Like there are some places that you can't even like breathe and you get in trouble.
A person that says that really like has no concept of how it is in the other parts of the world. Like
Yeah.
I've even with me who was born in the Philippines, I've been westernized, but I got glances of how it is. And you watch any documentary, man, there's people that are living in squalor.
Watch Rise. Giannis' story.
Giannis, it's a story about being a refugee,
Literally.
escaping from place to place, being an illegal alien, having to move from place to place because you don't have papers.
Yep, exactly.
It's
I don't know. It's just when I heard Draymond say that, when I heard Kendrick Perk, I'm like, come on, Perk.
come on, man.
Come on, guys. You gotta be better than that. You can't use your platform to just bring in the race car to it. And then people had to fight against saying, no, what you said is kind of wrong. It's true. Like, I just don't, and then I don't know. I just don't like that. It's just like, why do we always have to bring race into it? Why can't you just give us actually real stats instead of saying, I had to do the race card? That's like, literally, if you have to do the race card, that means you have no facts and you have no stats.
Yeah,
and you have nothing to prove it. So you had to
Right.
make it, you have to try to relate. And you can't always do that because people are opening their eyes and realizing, dude, it's not because he's white, it's not because he's black, it's because he's an amazing player.
Amazing player.
Like,
can we just say that he's an amazing player?
And yeah, I get it. And he kind of plays like, I'm not saying he's not a bad player. Yeah, but don't bring the race into it.
Yeah.
Just admit that he's an amazing player.
He's an amazing player.
And the reason why he's in there is not because, yeah, I get it. He's not averaging 30 points per game like Donovan Mitchell or like Damian Lillard and all these guys. But you understand, he has a triple-double in everything. He's helping out. He's consistent.
He's good on both sides of the board. He hasn't really
been out. He only had like, he only have not played 2 games or something. Mm-hmm. And he's helping this team to become the first seed. Yeah. And then you might say, "Oh, now he has to win the title." Okay, he'll get there. I guarantee you, he'll get it. I guarantee you, the people that talk about Luka and that talk about Jokic, they'll get a title when they get there.
Yeah, and plus, Matt, you put it. There's still time. There's still a lot of ball to play. I mean, KD might just go on a tear. And finally break, because honestly, I would love for the Phoenix Suns to win a title. I really do. Yeah. I really would like the Phoenix Suns to win a title. It's not going to happen.
I'm sorry to say this.
It's not going to happen because
I'm going to make this bold prediction.
Okay,
bold prediction.
And we got to close soon.
Phoenix is going to get bounced between the first or second round.
Okay.
Then what's going to happen is they're getting Kyrie Irving.
So Kyrie's gonna go from the Mavs to the Suns, and replace Chris Paul.
Yep, they don't want Chris Paul no more, and now like that, Kyrie, KD still want to play. Kyrie's been playing.
ISO gang.
Think about
ISO gang.
KD, Kyrie, Devin,
and
don't bring Ayton because I don't care about Ayton.
You don't like Ayton? I like
Ayton's a punk.
But I'll tell you this though, DeAndre Ayton's another one of those guys that nobody really cared for, but then now is like, yeah, he's a punk, but like he kind of has like the swagger rights because y'all didn't. Y'all said, oh, we could have picked somebody else, but no, we picked DeAndre Ayton. Oh, good, good for you, DeAndre Ayton. Now, DeAndre Ayton balling. So, man.
Now before we go,
turbocharged.
We're not racist.
We're not racist. We love people. We love everybody.
We're not sexist.
We're not sexist. We love ladies. Like, for example, not just to kind of patent this, I love the fact that South Carolina is killing it in women's basketball. Like, women's softball is awesome.
We just wanted to point
ladies gymnastics is awesome.
We just wanted to point out our views and talk about NBA. And actually, you know what's crazy? We talked about NBA and we talked about real life stuff that's happening.
That's actually the direction of the show that I always want.
So
it's like the real stuff.
So please don't label us sexist. I'll be honest, just please don't label us because we're not that.
Because, and here's the other thing too, some of you will, because that's the world that we live in, and we're not. We are not. We're gonna do the thing that you're telling other people. We are not sexist. We love everybody. We love everybody regardless of race, religion, creed. We may disagree on certain things, but and we'll say it in the end. We'll say it in the end because we're still leading up to that. Because here's the thing, I think we've just strayed away from what really matters, the important things in life. We've strayed away from the importance of being kind to one another. We've strayed away from the importance of being respectful of other people's properties and being respectful of other people's beliefs and being respectful of that. We are more focused on our own personal agenda than trying to also be loving. You can focus on your agenda, but you also can be loving. You don't have to be a jerk about it. We also have to remember that there's a certain way of saying things. There's a certain way of conveying these particular ideas. And because now everybody has a very, very, it's overly sensitive and can't sometimes take it, it's harder and harder for us to sometimes express ourselves because we have to sometimes play a role that kind of conforms to what people expect. What you have to conform to, I'm going to say it. You have to conform to Christ. Conform to Christ. Be like Jesus. Because Jesus was focused on one particular thing, and that's glorifying the Father, giving an example to everybody else. And you know what? We, as Christians, we fail at doing that every single day, but we gotta at least try. Gotta at least try. And we have to really think about what is worth fighting for, what are the things that you need to be arguing about, and what are the things that you need to be bringing up that should be brought up, and focus on those things of great importance. But I hope that people will start to realize that, hey, we need to start getting back to being good to each other. Because you know what? If we continue to eat at each other, no matter what topic it is, whether it's religion, whether it's basketball, whether it's hockey, whether it's race, whether you are black or white, whether you are this or that, Christian or Muslim, whatever, if we continue just to fight and strive, and rather than have a sense of understanding, just as the Bible says, let us reason with one another, we are not gonna need natural disasters or the apocalypse to kill us all. We'll do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do it ourselves. But this is the awesome thing. And it's what we say every week. It's what we believe. It is something that gets us through the worst times. And it's also the thing that also gets us through the best of times. And we say it every week, and we mean it. We don't know you, but we love you. And there is a God above that does. For all of us here at PB and Cashew, I am PB.
And I'm Cashew.
Peace out, PB Cashewville.